if he can give us some high-level insight into what's going on here.
Is that a tall joke?
It is now.
And plus, I'm standing instead of...
Kerry, welcome.
Thank you, Mike.
How you doing out there?
I'm 1-1.
Okay.
Lost a heartbreaker. I'm up 4-0 going to 7. Played really well.
I'm pretty sure you're describing my exact last
I told
match.
you they were identical scenarios. I literally was up 4-0. He gets back into it. I'm still up 6-3. Had a chance to get out. Screwed it up. And then it came down to hill. I'm running out. I get a slight... Actually, see this 8-ball right here? Mm-hmm. See where the cue ball is and the 8-ball is? That's my shot on the 9-ball. And I aim it in the center of the hole and get the worst skid I've ever seen in my life. The cue ball rides up on the object ball, and it misses by a half a diamond or more, and I lose.
Did you play top? Played high?
Outside English.
But top?
Slightly high, outside English. It's just astonishing.
I have feelings about skids and top English.
Sometimes. Usually it seems like outside English is going to counteract the worst of the skid thing. So I've never seen a ball skid that bad with outside. But this is the way things go. My opponent's a good player, so, whatever. Yeah,
things are going to happen. Balls are going to be hit. Yeah. Things are going to be missed. Things are going to be made.
I wish I won, but I can't dwell on that.
Yeah, you can't do that. It's going to carry into your next match, and you don't want to have that. Otherwise, it'd be a single elimination tournament. So
hey, Mike,
yes.
Catch me up to speed here. We got Samoth playing
Derek Cunningham. Yep, Derek Cunningham.
I was warming up this morning with Derek. I'm not so familiar with his game.
I'm not too familiar with his game either.
He played good, I could say that.
I will say that I remember when we did the Efren Reyes challenge and the Bustamante challenge, Francisco Bustamante challenge. He came for both of those, and I remember him being very excited and delighted to be able to play pool with those guys.
Nice.
And he did pretty well. He was playing by the game with them early before we did all those challenges.
Oh, that's cool.
And he did pretty well. I think he won a couple of games, to be honest, but I'm not really too familiar. Samoth, I'm more familiar with his game.
Yeah, I'm much more familiar.
He was my first match today.
Yeah, I think I caught a little bit of that. It looked like it went quite well for you.
It went quite well for me. However, I mentioned this earlier on the stream. I definitely didn't get his best game, and I played well, but I didn't get his best game for sure. I had a little bit more than the average number of opportunities in a match with Samoth.
Yeah, now he's coming down from Maine. It's got to be at least 2.5 hours or more for him to get
I'm thinking it's a little more than that. I think he's like about 3 hours, 3.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely got to take a toll on you, and adjusting to the equipment and this, that, and the other,
right. Yeah,
whatever.
This is
but
obviously your home.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm going to be comfortable pretty much immediately. When I walked to the table, he said, "Oh, would you like to hit a few balls also?" And I said, "No, I'm ready to go."
Yeah.
And, I was ready to go. And I think he had mentioned something later. He said that he was having trouble adjusting to the speed of that particular table. Like he'd underroll, he'd overroll, he'd not even make the ball, and I got a lot more opportunities than I would normally expect in a match with him. But it seems like he's doing okay now.
Do we know what this race is?
Yep, this is an 7-6 race. Samoth's going to 7.
Okay. I'm going to assume that Derek may. It looks like he is a 591 Fargo, and I think Samoth is somewhere around 630 or so. So yeah, it must be just
639 and 592 is the two ratings here.
I see.
So looks like Samoth's going to have a bank shot here.
He plays quite a lot of one pocket and 8-ball. Those are probably among his best games, actually. And, so he should be real comfortable with banks, although Table 1's its own animal.
Which is probably why he elected to do
that. Yeah. Table 1 bank's a little weird, especially if you're not used to it. Well, this is definitely an opportunity for Derek to get on the board first.
It's long and straight, which is very difficult, but he's got a Revo, folks.
I swear, this is one of those scenarios where that Revo shaft really comes through. When you got to just stroke a ball at a distance, it really is a game changer, I feel. I mean, I know a lot of people think it's the Indian, not the arrow, but if we're the same Indian, and I have the better thing, or the thing that works better for me, the equipment that works better for me, then of course it matters.
And Derek Cunningham coming up with the first game. And he is leading now 1-0. So now we got a 7-5 race. 7-5.
So far, I mean, I knew quite a bit about this event going in, and I was anticipating it being one of Mark's best so far. And at this point, I got to feel that's what I'm seeing. It really does seem like a very well thought out event. He really did a great job of scrutinizing the handicaps and making sure people are where they're supposed to be. I've seen tons of hill races. So obviously something's going right there. And they're not quite as crazy as the hot races. We're doing medium races, and I love that. I think that's much better.
I've had some conversations with Mark in the last month or two, somewhere in that range, and we've talked about, the Fargo ratings, and everybody's got vastly different ideas of what Fargo ratings are, how they work.
Right.
Whether they like them or not is the biggest difference. I mean, some people hate them, and some people love them.
I think what you just said right there is a big source of confusion in that the difference between understanding how it works and whether or not you like it, those things tend to blur together for a lot of naysayers.
Yeah. It's like, I don't like that guy. You ever met him? No, but his name bothers me.
I mean, for example, me personally, I strongly prefer to play even race events with people around my same speed. That's what I like.
Yeah, you prefer that. Doesn't mean it's wrong.
Right, exactly. That's exactly right. A heavily handicapped event is certainly not a wrong thing or a bad thing. It's just a different thing.
Right.
And I think it serves a purpose. It brings a lot of players into the game. I think there's a lot of lower players that feel they may not have a shot playing even with some of these people that play tons of tournaments, and it's just a little over their comfort zone, and to get a bunch of games on the wire from somebody decent gives them the opportunity, A, to feel like they can actually compete and win, and B, to expose their game to that higher level of competition and possibly get into it a little bit.
Mike Matthew, Connecticut player. You're familiar with Mike.
I'm very familiar with Mike.
So we were just talking about that type of stuff, talking about even race versus handicap pool, and I didn't want to get into that conversation in this position. However, I did want to mention that there are positives to both.
Of course.
And someone's opinion of one way or the other doesn't make it right or wrong. It just means that's their preference.
Exactly.
And I think that there's benefits to both.
I do too.
But, I'm
not going to lie, deep down, if I am having to give up a ton of weight and it seems like a super difficult match and I somehow get there, it's kind of a cool feeling.
It's a cool feeling because you feel like Superman.
Exactly, and it feels good. But everyone has their own lane they like to drive in, and my opinion is you should drive in a bunch of different lanes and really sample a little from here, a little from there. Focus on the thing you like the best, but don't limit yourself to only that. But being in the situation of getting a lot of games or giving a lot of games, it's to me the equivalent of preferring to play 9-ball and rejecting playing 1-pocket or 8-ball or whatever. You want those experiences too, because they can all add to each other. You know what I mean? They build you into a more rounded player.
So, we just had that short conversation about the Revos, and
look. Speaking of which, look how good he just hit that ball.
I mean, I'm watching the way that the players execute when they're shooting with those, and I want to ask you a question. So, let's say I hold an open event, right?
Right.
And the stipulation is house cues only. Okay. You got to play with a house cue. Yeah, that would be something. Do you feel the same players will be there without their low deflection, personal cue, this, that, the other? Like, everybody's got to adjust. Everyone. No one playing in these tournaments plays with a house cue. I mean, it just doesn't happen.
I would say that people that do play with low deflection cues are going to be at a decided disadvantage because the people that are used to playing with a standard type of, a standard maple shaft, it's not a mile away from the way a house cue is going to play and deflect and whatnot.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the adjustment is more of a comfort, maybe they don't like the taper or the way it hits, but the way they aim the ball is maybe not going to be 100 miles different. Whereas someone like, for instance, this guy Derek that plays with a Revo, I don't know how long he's played. I don't know how long he's played with the Revo, but
Yeah.
it's night and day aiming. The ball,
Yeah, for sure, aiming and all that stuff. But so you think that the players that have standard non-low deflection cues would have a little advantage
I think so, for
against
sure.
the players that play with low deflection?
Yeah, like for example, I have I play with an Andy Gilbert cue, but with a Predator 314-3 shaft, which is pretty low deflection. And when I take out my original Andy Gilbert shaft and just hit balls with it, it feels amazing. It's a beautiful hit. It's just awesome, but I can't make a ball with it. If I use any kind of English, I'm just all over the place. Could I adjust? Probably, eventually. I don't think I'd ever get back to the level that I've played low deflection shafts for 15 years now, so I don't know that I'd ever be able to have enough time in my life to get back to the level I'm at now. But, I wish, there's certain parts of me that wish I still played with a standard cue, just for the exact reason that you can more or less pick up anything off the wall and
That's what
be
you play.
functional.
Yeah,
Be functional.
that's what you play with. Yep.
Yeah,
Grab a cue and fire.
right.
That's exactly how I came into pool like that. I would play with the house cues.
Yeah, sure.
Matches,
Yeah, I'm
tournaments,
sure
you
that's
name
probably
it. I
the
would just
case.
play with a house cue, and then I ended up grabbing myself a McDermott Sneaky Pete,
Yeah.
and I liked the hit of it, and I played with that for like 9 years.
Is that the butt that you currently shoot
No,
with now?
I play with Frankenstein, is what I call it.
yeah.
But that's a Kevin Baccio special. It's
Oh, yeah.
It's been artistically adjusted, I'll say, and it weighs like just under 16 ounces.
Oh,
It's
wow.
a pretty light cue. No metal in the cue at all. It was a very unique cue, and I just loved the hit of it.
I see Richie Connors talking about back at the pool hall that used to be in I want to say Somerville, Mass. Had like 8 million tables. Literally, I think they had like 60 tables. And he's saying how he had his own favorite house cue that he would hide. And it's funny because when I first started playing pool, I played out of a bar called the Clada in the APA, and I had my favorite house cue, and I did the same exact thing. I hit it, and they allowed me to take that cue to other away matches and then bring it back. And that was
pretty
like
funny.
my cue, but it was just a 18-ounce house cue, and I loved it.
It's kind of funny. Rich Connors, you put out there that little edge that you would have in playing in a house cue tournament. So I feel that now that people know what to do, I may walk into the pool hall on the day of the house cue tournament. There are no house cues, and there is just a pile of wood behind one of the benches somewhere. It's like, well, what's that? Where's all the house cues? I don't know, but I know I got one hidden over there. It's just this big stack. Everybody took his advice. Pile them up back there.
While we were talking about these house cues, unfortunately, Samoth just ran out a beautiful rack, only to come up a 50-yard line
Yeah,
on the
he-
9.
he-
He tried to cut that
ball
ball
in
with the
hand,
bridge and
yeah.
just missed the whole ball.
Missed the ball. Yeah, it's unfortunate
So
when a
that
player
was-
that's that talented, it's just not clicking right now. Something's definitely off, and it's unfortunate. It really is.
Yeah.
So,
Well, on the flip side, it's nice to see a guy like Derek, who I'm not that familiar with, who he looks like a pretty young guy.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine he's much over 30, if even 30. And, I don't recall seeing him in too many events of this size.
yeah, I'm not sure what his preference is as far as tournaments go, but I've only seen him at a handful, to be honest. I know he was at Clyde's Once in a While tournament up
Oh,
at
nice.
Styx. He was there. He came to both of those, the Reyes Challenge, the Bustamante Challenge.
Yeah,
He came
yeah.
here for those, and obviously he's here for this one. But I don't remember seeing him at many other tournaments.
Well, he has himself a 3-0 lead at this point.
He's got a comfortable lead. I mean, it's a 7-3 race at this point. But I mean, it's the same with any high caliber player. Samoth, if he finds what he's lacking
he's
right now,
well capable of putting a package on Derek.
Very
at any
capable,
time.
yes. I mean, the bottom line is that it's rack your own winner break, and that particular is huge.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's another factor that, for me, I feel balances out the handicap.
Yeah, you
where,
can't.
Where you have,
Yeah.
if you're gonna spot somebody a bunch of games because you're whatever an A
Way
player
better.
or something, you need to have the opportunity to be the A player.
Yeah,
you
where you need to win 2 games in a row where they can't shoot.
Running a couple racks or something is kind of part of what makes you that higher level player. And
Correct.
If you're prohibited from doing that,
Right.
then you've essentially capped off the top, the top performance you can put in.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly and entirely on that. I've been to some tournaments where they're handicapping the tournament, which is fine, that's okay. And at the same time they're doing that, they're like, oh yeah, we don't do 3 foul rule. I'm like, but that's part of why I can beat that guy.
Yeah, right, because you know how to play.
Now I have to play him in a 5-2 race. But I can't 3 foul him if the rack's clustered. I have to take a wild shot at I have to take a wild shot just to take a swing at something.
Well, I suppose you could still continue to play safe. You just don't. You can't necessarily. You're forced to develop the rack.
In that same tournament, they also do not allow a push out after the break.
Okay,
and I can't tell you.
odd.
Yes, and I can't tell you how many times I've played in the tournament, and I feel very comfortable. I break dry, or I'll break. I'll make a ball, and I can't see the 1 ball, and it's sitting semi-close to the 9, and I have to take a wild flyer 3-rail kick or something with, masse, to get around something to try to make something work. And if I don't make it, the guy just takes it, ball in hand 1-9. And all I wanted to do was just push out and give the guy a funny shot, but nope, can't do that. And I'm also giving, 3 or 4 games on the wire there. It's like, come on.
Right. Samoth hit that break really good, but he came up dry. Ooh, I don't know. I think he can see the edge of the 1 ball, but I certainly don't think he can make it.
Oh, yeah, he's making that ball.
You think so?
Yeah, if you check out the overhead there. It looks like he can make that completely.
I mean, it's certainly not an easy shot, and it's going to be tricky position. I like watching his stroke. He has definitely an unorthodox technique, and he has a very pronounced slip stroke.
Yeah, I was going to say that's definitely something that is unique to just a few players, I want to say. It's not where, like, you're going to go into a pool room and be like, oh, yeah, this guy, and this guy has that, and, everybody else has this. But
from what I remember, Joey Dupuy actually has a slip stroke. It's not quite as dramatic as Samoth's, but it is there for sure. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I think Willie Mosconi might be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Be known for that.
That's actually where I was introduced to that term.
Oh yeah.
With Willie Mosconi, so that I mean, unless the video was lying to me, but that's where I was turned on to that term.
I mean, it's definitely a more complex movement, and I think it opens the door for things to potentially go wrong. I feel like it sort of. I think it requires a little bit more of the player to be consistent with it.
Yeah. Rich Connors, I got your message there. Taking the 3 foul rule out of pool is like taking strike 3 out of baseball. Absolutely. It's like, hey, I struck you out. Yeah, but he's not really a good batter, so we're just going to let him keep swinging until he hits it. Oh, no problem. You got it.
See a number of familiar names out there in the chat, too. James Brumbaugh, he's a great player, I think, from this area, but possibly living in Florida at this point, or one of the Carolinas. I kind of forget. But he moved somewhere south, I think. And Dylan Nickerson, I see, from Maine, good young player, very good player.
Guys, thank you for tuning in. Please make sure you're sharing the stream to your respective groups, pool groups, friend groups, whatever you got. We want everybody to be watching pool. You guys already know what it is. Got to promote the game, put it out there. And also, anyone that likes and follows the Snookers Live Facebook page, tomorrow, prior to the finals, we're going to give away a Snookers gift card to one lucky fan. Right there. Very nice shot there.
He's not he's not missing a whole lot of balls. It's going to be a very tough match for Samoth at this point.
Yeah, I want to say Derek's a balanced player. He's not like too much one way or too much the other. Like, he's somewhat aggressive, but he's also calm. You know, he's
sure,
kind of balanced there.
Yeah, I definitely. Like
he doesn't
his
run around the table, but
he
you
looks
know,
determined.
pretty,
and that's a huge factor. Now, see, this is one of the weirdnesses of table one: how short you can make that ball come going 2 rails. I have literally scratched in the side pocket with a very similar path, and that's tough to do. This is why a lot of people say this table plays a little more like a diamond.
Yeah, I would say it does a little bit, but yeah, it is pretty insane how short you can get that ball to come 2 rails out of the corner there. And
well,
there
nice
he goes.
Derek. I mean, he just didn't do anything flashy. He just
Derek going up 4
hole.
games to 1 over Samoth Sam.
A lot of pool going on today. My guess is I think they're going to probably max out the room for the majority of the evening and try to get down to the cash line for tomorrow.
Yeah, I would say so. And I'm not saying we should use all of it, but it is a 2 o'clock night, so we don't have to stop at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think maybe 12:30 would be the last match, something like that.
Where I was going with this is there's an awful lot of cash in the house and a lot of people that like that cash and want to play pool for it.
Well, I mean,
I believe
gotta.
They call that action, and I think that might.
They do call it action, Kerry.
Some of that happening.
You know what? You got it. Let's go. But yeah, there's a lot of players here, and I'm sure they're going to want to be matching up. I'm sure they want to match up. All right, so Derek Cunningham set to break, and he's 2 games away. Samoth is 6 games away, but still not out of reach. Still very capable.
Table number 7, Tom D'Alfonso and Seamus Sweeney in a 9-4 race. Tom goes to 9, Seamus goes to 4.
And he's going to come up dry.
D'Alfonso and Seamus Sweeney on table 7 in a 9-4
Yeah, I
race.
just listening to them announce a match between Tom D'Alfonso, a.k.a. Shorty, who is the highest rated player in the event by a pretty fair amount. And
about 30 points or so.
Just about, yeah. I want to say he's 729. I think Joey is the next highest at 705 maybe.
Oh, yeah,
right
20, 25
yeah.
points. That's, yeah.
And ooh, boy, he certainly lucked out there. And then he didn't.
Or did he?
Yeah, right, exactly. So, yeah, and he's going to be playing Seamus Sweeney, a player from up my area. Seamus actually came and played at my event over at the Crow's Nest a while back, that higher level amateur event, and he's going to be getting a 9-4 race from Shorty. So that'll be really interesting to see how that plays out.
And what is Seamus's
I believe he's
rating?
in the ballpark of 550, 560, somewhere in there.
Okay. 9-4. That is tough action, man.
It sure is, yeah.
Kerry, name somebody in the room you want to play 9-4 in the upper bracket.
I will get back to you in a couple of years.
Yeah, get back to me. Yeah, you got it.
I can't imagine anybody. Well, I don't think I would play anyone in the upper bracket 9-4 because.
Well, you're a pro in my book, but. So we had mentioned your unfortunate recent incident recently, and I tried to tell everybody to just
what a great
give it a
kick
break.
he just
Fantastic.
made. That was excellent.
Fantastic kick by Samoth.
Can he get safe?
Somewhat. I'm sure he can spin behind there, but these rails are quick, so.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if he might put this 9-ball in play. I mean, his play style is such that I don't think he will do that, but.
He's got a miscue. The Revo may make everything, but it doesn't mean that it's going to chalk itself.
You need the mic? Oh. Yeah, right.
And that would be pretty awesome. I always had a vision of having, like a pencil sharpener, like electric pencil sharpener with chalk in it for the pool cues.
Yeah, right.
And you kind of just, it's on an angle on the walls.
Yeah,
and you kind
exactly.
of just
You
rest
jam
it in
your
there, and it just chalks it up nice. I always thought that was an idea, but that's the kid in me trying to have fun. Samoth did make the 4. I'm not sure if he has an angle coming down.
I think he is actually on the wrong side here. This could be
just
a
slightly.
He might be able to spin with inside English.
Yeah, but cheating the pockets on this table is not a good
Oh,
idea.
I didn't realize he was on the right side of that ball. I thought he was on the other side of the ball.
Not for nothing. That kind of looked like a magic trick. Didn't look like that was possible. That slip stroke might have had a little masse on there.
Well, I mean, he's got the dream layout right here.
Yeah, you'd take this layout for the cash.
I would like to have it.
I would like to have it. May I have this, please?
Samoth definitely looks a little more solid. A little, maybe sometimes it's a simple layout that lets you get into stroke. Sometimes it flips the switch for you. Sure, Samoth is looking for that switch to be flipped right now, and so he's out. It's 4-2. Still got a lot of work to do, but at least he's at the table and breaking. He hit his last break tremendously. He did not make a ball though. I didn't know. I think he broke from the side rail too. So I wonder if perhaps the rack might be. Seems like that's a major factor for a lot of players is racking the balls really tight.
All right. I'm going to take you back to the main view here. Samoth coming up. He's got another game up. So I'm just trying to tend to the chat people, make sure I'm not missing anything.
All right, so he is, in fact, breaking from the side rail here. And let's see if he makes this 7 ball in the corner. That's the objective. He did not. However, he did make the one on the side. Is that his ball actually
Maybe the
came
5
high
also?
of the rail? Yeah, it looks like he's got 2 down on the break. Very thin cut on this 2 ball on the side, if that's what he elects to do. And it's actually, on this table, it's a little awkward to hold this ball for position. I can't see how much angle he has. He may be able to draw this ball, kind of drag it with a lot of outside English and go 2 rails.
I was going to say, yeah, the 2-railer like we were just talking about, I would kind of just want to roll it with that inside, drag it towards the corner just a hair. How about the inside?
He played it with inside English. That's a great shot. He hit that nice.
I got to say, sometimes I'll see a player shoot a shot and I'm like, that doesn't make sense, like the way it looked as they struck the ball. But, the reactions are all on point, but just the way that the way they struck it, I'm like, how the heck did they do that?
That's a beautiful position shot he played right there. Nice speed, nice control.
Maybe he's getting angry. He's like, you know what?
Well, like
I'm tired
I said,
of being out of stroke here.
I think sometimes it's the easy layouts. Sometimes they get you back where you need to be. So he has a little bit of an awkward angle here. He'd like to get a little closer to the 6, but he's a little straight on the 4. He might just have to accept a longer shot on the 6 ball. And that's exactly what he did.
And he's confident in this 6 ball, I'm sure.
See here, most players tend to punch across the table. I like to follow here.
Yeah, follow 2 rails.
It's
That's my preference also.
And smoother.
Yeah. What's that saying? Draw for show, follow for dough.
Sure, exactly.
There you go. My old friend, Mr. George Comerford, taught me that. He taught me a lot about the game early on.
Yeah.
He's not really an active player anymore. He is a good shooter. He's just not active, really. I think he might play in the leagues or something, but he definitely turned me on to a lot of the knowledge side of pool. And,
for me, in this particular example, sort of mentor of mine over the years would be Mr. Tom McGonigal, and he always used to say that for humans, going forward is natural. You don't drive your car backwards. You don't walk backwards. You go forward, and that's the natural way to do it. And that shows up in pool sometimes.
Samoth not going down without a fight.
Look looking at 4-3 at this point. Samoth
charging
just ran
back.
out a nice rack. So as we discussed before, he's very capable of putting a package down here, and this might be what we're watching.
That's definitely a strong possibility. Hey, Miss Chelsea Medeiros is in the chat. What's up, Chelsea? Hope you're enjoying the show. She just had a birthday on Thursday. Ooh, we got goodies. Goodies are coming in. Who do we have coming up next? I think this might be an error. Kara, if you want to excuse me 1 second,
Yep.
I think this might be an error here.
Sure. Okay, hold on. I know. Mm-hmm. Or potentially that one. Mike's just stepping out for a moment. We're going to continue to watch the evolution of Samoth's run. He got a little bit bad on this 4-ball, so it looks like he may be able to play the 9-ball on this shot here, but I don't know if he can hit this 4-ball thin enough to do that. From my viewpoint, I can't tell. This is definitely a very tricky situation because if he elects to play safe, he needs to do. It looks like to get the cue ball where he wants, he has to hit it relatively soft to control the 4-ball. However, that means he's leaving the 4-ball in the vicinity of the 9-ball, which is going to make things difficult. He may be able to bank the 4 away and stun forward under the 9-ball. Okay, he's done a little variation there. He actually banked the 4-up table. I do think he has hidden the full ball, but this is a fairly routine rail first, although on table 1, not too many things are fairly routine. Ooh, boy, Derek got a really bad kiss there, and he's left Samoth more or less straight in on the 4-ball. So here's the opportunity for Samoth to tie this match up.
Next matchup, it's going to be Adam Blair, Josh Caesar. Yes.
Okay, I've just got the good word on our upcoming matchup. It's going to be the feature blockbuster from the lower bracket, which is going to be Adam Blair and Josh Caesar. That should be a very exciting match. Well, a couple of errors from Derek is going to potentially cost him this rack. A little bit of a awkward position from the 5 to the 6. Let's see if he goes 3 rails with inside English or if he stuns across the table. It looks like he's going to be playing inside, but we'll see. Yeah, that's my preference. I like the inside English route. To me, it's a little more controllable and I don't have to hit the ball so hard. This is where Samoth really needs to bear down. He's got to get out here, or at least win this rack, just to stay in the match. He made a nice shot there. Great speed control. Killed the ball.
Table,
Beautiful angle to go across for the 9.
table number 11. Brogan versus Stephanie
Great
Cobb
shot.
in a
Great shot.
6-4 race. Rob goes to 6.
All right, well, this is going to tie us up at 4.
Rob Brogan and Stephanie Cobb on table 11. 6-4 race. Rob goes to 6. Stephanie goes to 4.
And Samoth will be breaking. Let's see how... I see Jared asking about the 10-ball tournament. I do not know what the situation with that is going to be. It may be the case that some of the 10-ball matches will be interspersed with the 9-ball matches. I can certainly get a word on that from Mark Dyan. Honestly, that may not necessarily be a question that can be answered right now, because I think the primary focus for today is going to be getting this tournament down to as small a number of players for tomorrow as possible. I think they're going to want to at least get people into the cash line for tomorrow, which would mean top 16. So we shall see how that pans out. Yeah, I don't think Samoth hit that quite as well as he hit some of his previous breaks, and he did come up dry. I feel like we're watching Derek maybe speed up a little bit. His pace and just his demeanor at the table has changed a little bit. Obviously, it's a lot easier to play loose and free when you're up 3-0 or something. But they are trading errors here. When you really have to grind out a match, this table can be somewhat intimidating. It's not that the pockets are overly tight; they're tighter, but it's just the way the table plays. It's you really need to control your cue ball well on this table. Hard to say if this bank is on. I'm thinking not. And apparently not, and Samoth has elected to play safe, but I think he may have left that one ball out in the open, and it turns out that this gives Derek the real opportunity. Now, earlier in the match, Derek was draining these in like nothing. It's amazing what a change in the score can do to your the quality of your stroke. So things went really unfortunately there for Derek, and he's left Samoth a really nice-looking 1-9 combo. And Samoth drains it to take the lead. All right, we have a 5-4 score at this point. Let's see how he does on this break. We're looking for him to make the corner ball, which would be the 4 ball. Boy, he hit that like $100 million, and the corner ball fired right in. So that's the break he needs to try to duplicate every time. Unfortunately, he didn't get the greatest position on the 1 ball, but he does have some really nice safety options here.
Table number 30. Soulier and in the 6th. Fred goes to 6, Richard goes to 4. That's Fred Soulier and Richard Kamal on table 13 in a 6-4 race. Fred goes to 6, Richard goes to 4.
I see Deb Cheese Lee Petrozelli. That's a mouthful. Asking about Mike DeMarco. Mike has just stepped out of the booth briefly. He'll be back. Yeah, I think he's going to be. I think they're still working through some of the other areas of the bracket, so I don't know if Mike will be up anytime especially soon. Samoth likes to play safe here. It's definitely a view of the ball for Derek. Now, what I have not seen from Derek, or at least not too much, is his safety game. I'm not really sure how his safety game is. You know, I would assume he might try to bank the 1 towards the 6, and just, oh boy, whoa, he went all in on that ball, huh? Where does he come out? Not great. I think that Samoth has this 1 ball wide open. So here's another opportunity for Samoth to get out, and this could put him up 6-4. Seems like both players are starting to tighten up a little bit as they realize, you know, this is the point where this match could go either way. Derek in particular has the option to go on the hill if he's able to get 1 more rack, so that could change things dramatically. Let's see if Derek can recover some of the straight shooting ways he had going earlier in the match. Well, unfortunately, another missed ball and another straight-in leave for Samoth. So once again, this is a real nice looking layout too, because if the only thing, the first shot's a little awkward because he's slightly on the wrong side of the ball, and the 3 ends up being a cut if he tries to draw the ball. It looks like he is going to draw the ball. Let's see how he does. Okay, I mean, he hit it great. The only problem is he's a little thin on this 3. However, he does have a nice angle to get back around for the 5 in the side, which is really where you'd want to play that ball. It's a big shot of this match right here. And he drills it. Perfect shape. Excellent shot. So this really makes the rack significantly easier. So Samoth's a little bit on the 50-yard line here. I don't think he is full enough on the ball to draw for shape on the 9. He might have to draw and then come back across. The side pocket could come into play. This is an awkward shot. He made a really nice shot there and basically just accepted a slightly longer shot on the 9 ball.
All right, I'm back. Got a couple of refreshments on their way from my man Kerry and I. All right, Samoth putting another one up
there, and you know that whole sequence there was real nice.
So is this an accurate score here? 6-4 in favor of Samoth.
That is correct.
Okay. All right.
Now we have Samoth on. I didn't realize. I forgot that puts him on the hill.
Wow.
And now Derek is a game away.
The unthinkable may happen here. Just want to remind everybody, this is the Winter Classic at Snookers in Providence, Rhode Island. We're having a blast. We got Samoth on the hill. Derek Cunningham still needing 2. And we're going to sweat the break.
His last break was absolutely perfect. And that one's pretty nice too, but unfortunately, he's not. Oh, that 7 ball dropped in late.
He's got a shot here.
I'm not too sure if he can cut this in the side. It looks like he can't.
Well, if anybody can, it's him. But I don't think he's going to go with that.
I'm expecting him to play safe, roll that cue ball down behind the 6 ball. You know, just kind of thin the 1. He's got a lot of blockers there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he's going to approach this. We've talked about that, the preference versus percentage,
Sure. Well, this is the shot that I had in mind. And
something like that.
yeah, that's pretty good. That 3 and 4 ball loomed large there. Now, this is a pretty easy kick,
All right,
but
the match between Ed Murray and Lena Mullendor is actually a 5-4 race. Lena goes to 5 and Ed goes to 4. So
There it is.
Ed Murray and Lena Mullendor on table
boy.
4, 5-4
Good thing we got
race.
tight pockets.
Yeah, right?
Otherwise, that thing would have been in the drink.
now again here, I don't really see any obvious shot on the 1 ball. So if he can squeeze that 1 past the 3, he may elect to just roll up. I'm sorry, that's the 5 ball. He may elect to roll up onto the back of the 5. But I don't think he
I
has
like that option.
I don't think he has the angle to do it, to be honest. I
And,
think
you
he has
know,
to cut the ball too much.
When you have to maneuver the ball out of the way of the obstructing ball you're trying to kiss to,
what I
sometimes
like-
you don't get the rail. You know,
Yeah,
like they
you're right.
twist it and
I
it just
did that very
dies in
thing
the middle
my
of the
match,
table.
and it cost me. He hit this ball real good. That's a beautiful shot.
That was executed well.
Now, this is, again, one of those situations where if he kicks off the back rail, he's putting the 1 towards the 9 ball. And that can be dangerous. Well,
And yeah, he left a shot. I'm
To
going to
be
say that's
honest-
going to go by the 6 ball. It looks very tight.
I think it does as well. I think there is just enough room.
It looks like it's frozen to the rail, so if he plays this the way I'm sure he's going to,
Yeah.
that thing's just going to slide right by it.
Ed Courtney and Justin Grant in a race to 5. That's Ed Courtney.
Well,
and
he
Justin
just touched the
Grant.
6 ball, and that's fine. However, it came up and got in his way.
We're going to check out what lines he has here. I mean, he's got the 1 railer off the top rail there, the short rail on the left of your screen there. I mean, do you see any other legitimate? I mean, he's
No,
looking like he's going to
think
masse here.
Oh, really? See, I guess he had to. He may not have had an option there. Ooh, this might spin into a reasonable shape for the 2. I think the 2 goes by the 5, but it's hard to tell for sure.
Yeah, the 2 ball, I don't see that going by the 5 ball. I mean, in my opinion, I think I banked the 2 ball up the table, try to go off the top rail there and try to keep the cue behind the 5. I might try something there. Not too many options here, Kerry. What do you think?
Well, he shot it as if it did go by the 5 ball, so maybe it did, maybe it didn't. If anything, it must have been close. He has left Samoth most of the ball, but not all of the ball. This is sort of an awkward shape as well. See, on ones like this, I'm all in on the cue ball. I think I would try to roll that cue ball. Okay, this is not bad. Unfortunately, his speed was a little off, and I think Derek has a full ball shot here.
I think he needed a couple of extra rotations on the cue ball.
Yeah,
Probably would have been
I
able to
think you're
hold
right.
it, but
I think you're right. And this, he's in the perfect angle to get shape on the 3. It's just a long shot on a tough table. So let's see what he does with it.
Revo
He
magic.
Drains it. Drains it.
Revo magic.
He's fighting for his life right here. Samoth's on the hill, and Derek needs another game to get on the hill with him. I think he overcut that ball.
And I think that was positional impedance there. Like
Yeah,
he was
I think
trying to
I agree.
hold it and just ended up overcutting there.
I agree.
But he did give him a clear shot, and pending good shape on that 6 ball.
Yeah, well, the question here is he going to play for the 6-9 combo, or is he going to try to squeeze in between those 2 balls?
He plays
He's going to
into
try to
it.
bump it, which is great. I like that shot as well. But now he's got his work cut out here. I think if he maintains an angle on the 5, he can play the 2 railer pretty much straight into the 9 with some control. He may actually. This is a good angle. This is a good angle to do, as I just said. I think that's probably the shot I'd play from here.
Let's see what he's going to choose here. He's going to try to go
See,
right
now
into
here
the 9.
Here we have the table 1
Wow.
very short
Yeah.
playing situation, because I feel like he hit that ball perfect, and it came up a little bit short, and unfortunately into the 6 ball. He's playing the billiard here, I believe, and he was unsuccessful. So Wow,
he
this
collapses.
is a huge opportunity for Derek here. He's a little bit off angle on the 6, but really sitting perfect to get shape on the 8.
A little high on the ball, maybe a hair of inside. Oh, he's going to the corner.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
Okay.
A perfect angle, too, to get back out for the 9 ball.
My preference
So-
there would have been to go to the side, from what I saw anyway, but he seemed to accept that and take it very
Nice
well.
shot, good stroke, good speed.
One par to see. A double hill match here. And there it is,
seen
double
an
hill.
awful lot of double hill matches, and what that tells me is that the handicaps are real close to what they should be, and that the system seems to work well.
Yeah, it seems like it's doing okay. I actually cut myself short a little earlier when we started talking about the Fargo ratings and the fairness and this, that, and the other, and the confusion on what it is versus it works, it doesn't work,
Right.
whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
And I want to say, Mark and I have been talking recently, and I'm trying to make it so that we can be, him and I on the same page and try to promote what we feel is the fair way to take care of that whole fairness thing. And I know I've sent you that little chart that we're trying to perfect and make ideal for everyone as far as the fairness goes and whatever it is, but that limiting of the bias, because you can't just guess and I'm going to move him 30 points and move him 10 points and move him 50 points, and you can't do things like that and just take guesses at things. But if we can find a clear range on players, as far as upper lower bracket type things and that type of thing, and also limiting how much you can adjust a player based on how many racks they have scored. I know we've talked a little bit about that, but
Yeah.
Bottom line is I'm trying to make it so that Mark and I can try to set an example and say, hey guys, we're in agreement on what these ranges dictate and what is an amateur, what is an open player, what is a professional player, and those types of things. And if we can set that line and set an example there, I think that might influence some others to get on board with being okay with using that type of system. Like the robustness being a little bit low.
Watch out, cue ball.
Players saying, hey, 200 racks might not be enough to say someone is fully established. I agree there, 200 is a little low. So, hopefully we can get to a point where everybody's on the same page and we all have the same charts to look at and the references and the guides and all that stuff. And I think that'll put us in a pretty strong position to win as far as pool goes.
Speaking of in a position to win, it looks like Samoth is going to be firing at this 9 ball up in the corner. This would be to win the match.
Kind of got to say, how can you not shoot at it?
Well, yeah, not too many other
And
options, really.
I don't want to see it hit
I think
soft.
he draws back to the bottom rail just to take care of his cue ball in case it doesn't go. I don't think he'll hit this soft at all. Oh, boy, he hit it really good. But look what he did. He did exactly what I said and took great care of his cue ball. He's stuck behind the 8 ball, and Derek can't see this 3. Derek has to come with an amazing kick right now. To be fair,
yeah, and you know
even
what?
if he doesn't, even with ball
That
in
5
hand,
ball
that-
is right in his line, too, I think. I don't know if this is just a simple
no,
roll.
I think he can get to the ball. Hitting just to the left of the middle diamond there. I think he can get to it. He might need a little bit of English, but the side pocket comes into play and makes this very dangerous. And
Yeah.
to be honest,
I would be
he
kicking
might-
on the left side of the 5 with some inside. Oh, he's just going to take away the pocket, or attempt to,
I
anyhow.
think he attempted to take it away, but at this point, I think Samoth's just going to play the 3-7 combo, and he doesn't need to do that anymore.
Zion's V, you're in there. How you doing, bro? Aren't you over in California right now or something? I know you were going on a little trip over there. Hope you're doing well.
Well, as I mentioned before, even with ball in hand, that 3 ball was never going to be easy, and Samoth did rattle it. So Derek's got to once again make a good kick. Ooh, was that available? I didn't think he could even make that shot.
He was jacked up. He massaged a bit.
This play is wonderful here because even though he's going to go into the 5-ball, it's sort of a natural stop.
It'll be somewhere
to
good.
Get position on the 4. Yeah, it's tough to avoid getting on the 4 here.
I'm not sure what they're discussing.
Oh, I think he might want to hit watch. To me, this seems like the 3-ball's far enough away that it really ought not be an issue. But in any case, it's always better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
I'm never going to be upset with my opponent asking to have a hit watch, no matter how obvious it may be.
This is pretty obvious in my opinion.
I think so too, but again, you do have to. And one man's obvious is another man's maybe.
Not even close.
And not everybody sees it the same, and everyone's knowledge set is going to be a little different as well. Well, here's the big opportunity. From the 4 to the 5 is what this whole rack is coming down to, and he did come up a little bit short. He's left himself some distance and angle, so this is going to be a tough ball to hold 2 rails.
I think
he should get out, but it's a tough ball. He's got to really stroke this nice. Oh, and he sure did. Well, see, like I said, tough to hold. I thought he hit it perfect, but he's good enough. He's good enough to go around this 9-ball right here. He has a good, decent angle, just some outside English, come right around the 9.
And just avoid contacting anything else, and he should be okay.
Yeah, that's going to work out. He would have really liked to have been a little straighter on this 7-ball because of the location of the 8. So now this is a little awkward.
Yeah. With the fast rails, absolutely. He might have to go back and forth here. I mean, just like that.
He hit that nice.
Look out for the corner.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, dear.
Boy. That was always going to be a danger.
And he's going to concede.
I don't think, did he?
Yeah, he did. He did concede.
Oh, wow.
He did. And there you have it, folks. Derek Cunningham